Welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. Today we have author Garth Jones returning, who not only had a chat to me about the new Predator Badlands film, spoiler alert, we both had a really good time. He also put together a list of his favorite books that he read this year. Now, I have to be honest, when I do my favorite books of the year, I mooch, and they could be books from any era because I'm just not that good at keeping up with everything that's coming out in the one year. But he has put together this amazing list of books that are not only all published in 2025, maybe one of them was published towards the end of 2024, but that was the only one. And they're all pretty much Australian and New Zealand writers, and it is such an amazing list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that list with links over at my Patreon site, patreon.com/Justin Hamilton. I'll leave it as a free post there, and I'll also leave it as a free post at my Substack. So, Justin Hamilton, comedian over at Substack, and whichever one you use, you will be able to find it, and you'll be able to see the books that he's talked about, and if any of them appeal to you, you'll be able to purchase them. So he's done a remarkable job. So I can't wait for you to dig into this podcast. Two quick things. One is a big shout out to our sponsor, Wonder Pies. They came on board to sponsor this podcast for the rest of this year. And as a fan of their product, it can be pretty hard as a vegetarian sometimes to find these types of pastries that I can just basically eat. There's not a lot of options, and theirs are delicious. So if you live in Victoria, you can find their cafes all around town, or if you would like to check them out online and maybe purchase a box full of these pastries that you can then use at your own disposal, go to wonderpies.com.au and you will find something that suits you. Trust me, you will find something that definitely suits you. Uh, Quick reminder for Brisbane people, Brisbane fans, Brisbane friends, possible Brisbane fans, friends, whatever. I will be up performing a solo show at Good Chat on the 4th of December. It's my first solo show in Brisbane in a decade. I'm going to be at Good Chat for the whole week, but my solo show is on the 4th. And if you would like to come along to that, I would love to see you. You can find tickets at Good Chat, or you can head over to my website, justinhamilton.com.au/gigs. Or you can just go to justinhamilton.com.au. You'll find the gigs page, and you can find more details there. So I'd love to see you there, especially as it would encourage them to keep having me back. I'd like to keep coming back to Brisbane. It's been a while, so I would like to reopen that market and spend more time up there. So if you'd like to come along, if you're an old fan, a new fan, or even just a little bit Hamo curious, then that would be great. And that is my phone ringing. Can you hear that? Man, what a bummer. How unprofessional. What an unprofessional thing to do. Anyway, there you go. I promise you my phone won't ring while I'm on stage, or maybe it will. All right. No mucking about. Let's get into this podcast. Garth has done so much fantastic work with this list. Like it's phenomenal, and it's always good to chat to him about things like Predator and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's bring in Garth Jones. Before we get into discussing your favorite books for the year, I think we've had a little brief kind of bit of contact about Predator Badlands. And just before you tell me what you thought of the film, as a fan of the original movie or the franchise, like where do you sit?
In 1988,
Yep.
when the first Predator came out on video, I won a radio contest at Vision Video on Gypsum Street in Broken Hill. And the
Amazing.
prize was the chunky sort of, you remember the video sleeves were actually padded.
Yeah.
like a really good quality, sort of large novel size.
Yeah.
I was 9, uh, so I won that. There was no discretion, no sort
Right.
of screening on the age of the contest winner. So I won a copy of Predator. Uh,
I was about to say you were about 9 years too young, weren't you?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
They handed it over to me anyway, and mum and dad said no fucking way.
Yeah.
And then my babysitter, a couple of months later, let me pick which video I wanted to watch, and basically spent the next 6 months with the lights on and absolutely fucking terrified of the cloaking device
Oh,
appearing in
right.
my bedroom.
Yeah. Turned out your parents were right.
I
Um,
didn't realize it was a critique of toxic masculinity at the time, that it was a
right.
satire of, like, all of those jungle army Vietnam films.
Yeah.
Yeah, just and extremely homoerotic, obviously, as well. But yeah, in from the start, basically.
Right. Hang on. So why did you enter the competition? You just kind of like
It
the
was
cover?
the video shop was a video shop opening, I think, and they were
Right.
just giving away videos as part of the promotion.
Oh,
But they
right.
didn't do any sort of like age screening. I think it was an M rating too then, so it was 15. So I was only about 6 years out.
Oh, yeah, only.
Back in
Um,
the 80s, we were much harder. We could do an M rating for Predator.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I would have been a bit older than you when I first saw it, and it's funny, like you, too young, hadn't to understand that it's a satire of that kind of guy and the way they carry themselves. But I did find those men funny, like
yes.
over the top funny. So even if you didn't understand what the film was having fun with and critiquing. Um, you were picking up on something, right? That's how good the film is.
I mean, it's just, the hyper reality of, Jesse Ventura carrying around his, minigun,
Yeah,
what, 400 kilos of ammunition on the back.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just the tropes just kept coming, the pussy jokes,
yeah,
it's like keyed into sort of that, teenage brain in a lot of ways.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, set me right up.
yeah. Arnie doing the infamous, what is it? You're
Pushing too
one
many
ugly
pencils.
motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking of the bicep off at the start, the
Oh,
pushing
yeah,
too many pencils,
yeah, yeah.
which is
So,
like meme to hell now. But yeah,
so funny. And Carl Weathers as well.
well, the story about Carl Weathers is that he was telling everyone that didn't need to work out at all during the shoot.
Right,
So if he wanted to maintain the illusion that he was just naturally that jacked, so he'd go
right.
into the gym at 4 a.m. before everyone else, and then leave if they saw anyone. Um,
That's funny. What a funny world to live in at that particular time. But
yeah.
and then where do you go with the rest of the film series?
Oh, well, Predator 2, I think, what, being 14 or 15 when that came out, that was like probably some of the earliest cinematic boobs.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, scoped, so pretty chuffed with that as well.
Yeah.
But I think that the thread that runs through them is how, they do have that heightened sense of they are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, 2 has got a lot of media satire.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit into the Paul Verhoeven style sort of weaves
Yes.
of, like, pop culture satire and like what's going on in the media. It was set in 1997,
Yeah.
in the urban jungle, as it
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Uh, Sort of, we've got Running Man that's come out recently set in 2025. That looks quite contemporary by today's metric as well.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Danny Glover fighting a predator.
Great.
Yeah, you know,
And and that was
he was
the
probably too old for this shit, and he was about 40 when he was
yeah,
making those movies.
I know it's one of those. Yeah, the Danny Glover banging on about being too old for shit and realizing you're 13 years older than he was at
Yes.
the time is up there with suddenly realizing that I'd get made fun of for dating the Golden Girls for going young.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, watching Pluribus last night, I'm like, I reckon, Betty White's probably the same age as
Oh
Lucy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
But yeah, and Danny Glover also scarily jacked if he's too old for this shit.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
way too muscly for someone who's meant to be
Retiring and
retiring. Um, I was talking to a comedian who's 10 years older than me, I think. Oh no, maybe, yeah, maybe I think he's 63. Yeah, and he's really muscular and
yeah.
working out. And he said he's been getting on the testosterone and and he really pushes it. He says it's really good for your health and blah 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 blah
Right,
blah.
sure. Yeah.
And then and he says it's really good. You know, like you have so much more energy. You're vibrant. You know, you just want to have sex all the time. I went, oh yeah, I'm out. That sounds too much. No thanks.
That sounds like a lot of logistics there.
Yeah, I'll do some push-ups. I'll be right, mate. Um, so it's interesting. Like if you said to me, "Are you an alien or a predator guy?" I'm
Mm,
definitively alien. Uh, because I think that first Alien film is
yes,
one of my all-time favorite films, regardless of what the
sure.
genre is. You know, Aliens is fun. Uh, I can't I can't quit Prometheus.
Mm.
It's, you know, for all its flaws, I go back to that quite a bit. Um, but it feels a little bit like now the Predator series has the more consistent run of films.
It's I think they really bottomed out. After Predator 2, obviously there are a lot of comics. The Dark
Yeah,
Horse stuff sort of
yeah,
held the brand, or whatever you want to call it, sort of it maintained that visibility through the rest of the 90s.
yeah,
And a lot of that stuff uh, that Dark Horse produce is sort of, I guess, seeping its way into the way they're, recontextualizing it now,
yeah,
along with the video games.
yeah,
But they Predator coming back with Alien versus Predator
yeah,
and versus Predator 2. The first one's not terrible, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that the second one's just appalling.
Appalling.
But yeah, they had a very, very dry spell until Dan Trachtenberg turned up and made Prey.
You
And
know, which was fantastic. Prey. Since Predator's come back, it's gotten things right that things like Alien Romulus made some missteps on.
yeah,
You know, like there's so you know, like as an example in Predator Badlands, which God, I had a good time. I just had
it's
a
fun.
really good
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I understand long-term fans of Predator find it to be a bit Disney-fied, but I just didn't care
no,
because I was having such a good time. And you know, there's that bit which kind of mimics the first one where the Predator learns to use his surroundings to take on the big enemy.
yes,
And and that's kind of getting at, you know, mimicking Schwarzenegger in the first film. That's getting it right where the android in Alien Romulus saying "Get away from her, you
yes,
bitch" with a
yeah.
stutter gets it wrong.
Well, I feel like the two Predator movies that sort of glossed over were Predators, which was the Robert Rodriguez produced one, which
Yeah,
was basically a remake that was doing all the tropes and all,
yeah,
down to Adrian Brody covered in mud at the end and
yes,
so extremely superfluous. And then, the Shane Black one,
yeah,
uh, that just really shut the bed with like the Predator mech and all
yeah,
that sort of gear. But yeah, I do feel like Romulus, that was my issue with Romulus too. It was that fan service didn't really sort of feel earned in that
yeah,
regard.
yeah.
Whereas in Badlands, I saw someone make the point that, Elle Fanning's character is the first person that's ever been happy to see a predator.
Oh yeah, yeah, right, yeah. Man, she
And
is,
the deck, the predator is just like, well, what the hell? Like,
yeah, doesn't know how to.
I'm a terrifying hunter. Like,
Mate, I thought the opening was great. You know, just setting up the
yes,
stakes. It must be a coincidence, but it inadvertently matches up well with Alien Earth. Like if you found
yes,
out that the Oculus alien and that came from
was
that
on that
planet,
planet.
you'd
Yeah,
go, oh yeah, 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 that
yeah,
makes
absolutely.
sense.
Yep. I
Um,
like the sort of Shakespearean drama of the dad, you know, wanting to cull the child
right,
and
yeah.
being sent off to prove himself.
Yeah. And so I've seen Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value, the uh, Bob Dylan, A Complete Unknown, and Predator Badlands. And I reckon I'm putting my flag in the ground. I feel like she's kind of got a Diane Keaton
Right.
subtle ability to do a broad range of genres really well. It feels a little bit like her on The Great, feels a little bit like Diane Keaton in Woody
Mm.
Allen's Love and Death. And then her in Sentimental Value is like her in an Ingmar Bergman movie or Woody Allen's Interiors or Fellini. Like she's
Yep.
so that's probably my favorite film of the year, and
Right. Yep.
she's so good in that. And then she is a delight in Predator Badlands. Like she is so fun and engaging. Like I feel like her performance really is the most important part of the film because she keeps all the balls in the air, as it
Yes.
were.
Yes.
Um,
Um, yeah. I mean, you've got well, the fact they introduce like the Yautja predator language into this as well,
yeah,
so they actually do have they can communicate.
yeah,
But yeah, she can riff with him and sort of be like an annoying C-3PO.
yes,
Here's
yeah,
Chewbacca to go with the Disney sort of. But C-3PO had to ride around on Chewbacca's back,
yeah.
and
And
that's the dynamic.
and she's doing all that really delightful stuff, and then like, she's actually strapped to that guy's back, and
Yeah.
she's having to hold her legs in the air, and she's got her legs strapped in, and all that kind of stuff, and she's doing all of that. I thought the planet was great that
Yes.
they were
Yep.
at. I liked the little alien that hooked up with
Yeah,
her.
I had a sort of vapor locked for a moment,
Yeah,
but you know, it worked. It was yeah. Sure. I mean, do we really want to see another variation on goes and murders? I think for a while it was going to be Predator versus Nazis or something like that.
right,
Was
right,
one of the pictures, and it's like there's limitations on how many different sort of subsets of people that the Predator can pick off
right.
and then be defeated by, or if there's like a heroic, semi-heroic Nazi at the end who then beats it or whatever. Like just sort
Yeah,
of wiping the slate and setting it from the Predator's perspective.
yeah.
Haven't seen it before. He's still not good by any real metric,
No,
but he learns a few things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And getting two Elle Fannings was great.
Yes,
I enjoyed the Michael B. Jordan's got it in the bag for double
yes,
acting for the year,
twins. Yes,
but
yeah,
he was Sinners is a much better film than Predator
of
Badlands,
course,
like
yeah,
but Elle Fanning is so good in both of those performances, and then you know I don't know why, but somehow the disembodied legs fighting works. I
yeah,
found it really fun.
yeah. It was fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just
and
disengaged physics brain and
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it, yes, like I knew it couldn't work, but they just did enough to make it seem like it
yeah,
could.
feasible.
It
Yeah,
was
and I think
feasible.
all that stuff, you know, the Disneyfication being there was no blood. Heaps of stuff got killed.
Yeah.
It just didn't bleed, the traditional color. So
Well, that
it was still incredibly violent in
yeah,
the mold of a Predator film.
yeah. There was heaps of blood. It's just that
Yeah,
his blood is green and
yeah,
the android's blood is white.
white. Yeah,
So
and whatever's in between.
yeah, you can have shit going everywhere. But
Yeah,
anyway, and then it got to the end, and you've had the mother computer, you've had all this stuff going on, and then he defeats his father, and then finishes with the three of them, and it's like, who's that coming? And it's saying mother. Like, I
yeah, great.
laughed. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I had a good laugh for that. Yeah.
And then it made me go and finally watch Killer of Killers.
And what do you think of that?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I feel like the first two were really good. Like, I feel like the Viking story and the
yes,
ninja story are exceptional.
yep.
And then
Yeah,
the
the
World
World War
War,
Two.
yeah, that was fine. Like, that was okay. And then I kind of, I guess there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. I guess because I'm just used to watching, maybe if I hadn't seen the Predator movie, um, that's based in reality. So there has to be some sort
Yes,
of physics that you understand. And there's cartoon
yes.
physics in
Just
this. So
disconnect. Yes.
yeah, so it just kind of took me out of it a little bit. But the reveal at the end of that they've got everyone that's ever beaten a predator on ice kind of made me laugh as well.
So in the comics, there was like Arnie's brother had a brother, like Dutch Schaefer had a brother called Alan Schaefer, who was a cop,
Right.
and he was a blonde guy with a flat top.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was basically them setting up Dolph Lundgren to play his brother. Uh,
Oh, right.
and in my head canon, that was, yeah, Dutch and Alan were going to get taken to the Predator planet at some stage to
Right.
this. I mean, you know, Dolph's still out there.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't look too bad.
Bring him into the universe.
Yeah, yeah, could still make it happen.
You could team up with Arnold.
Was he one of the characters frozen at the end, or
No,
no?
no, no. I mean, yeah, it was like he was a character in some of the comics in the sort
Right.
of mid '90s
Yeah.
that I always sort of latched on to as being, having the Dolph sort of idolization at that point.
Yeah.
Probably Showdown Little Tokyo or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, then, and the good thing about having a predator be the main character is all these scary aliens, and they keep getting beaten in all these movies. And after a while, you think, well, they can't
yeah.
be that much of a
Well,
threat. So it's
exactly
good
that.
to
Yeah.
see one win.
Danny Glover can take him out,
Yeah, it'll be fine. Anyway, what
So
I
there's just one thing I spotted that I just wanted to share or ruin some people's days with before we move on.
oh, okay.
And this is from the Guardian's review of Predator Badlands from Peter Bradshaw, who's
Uh,
their film critic.
yeah, Bradshaw. It's funny. I either
Yeah, he
okay.
goes
I,
either
I'm
way.
I'm all over the shop with Bradshaw.
So it's just a line from it that I'll just everyone can just ponder as we before we move on. It's So he's just talking about how the predator's a creature with distinctly horrendous choppers with a sort of cluster of mandible claws on it. And then, as an aside, he reflects, a real horror film would also show us what his genitals look like.
Wow, wow, Peter
Just
Bradshaw.
getting a bit horny on Maine there.
Yeah, right.
No, I think it's the first person that's ever actually thought in the middle of a predator film,
Film. I wonder what they're.
what's
What?
under that loincloth?
Yeah, nothing good, I bet.
Well,
But also, never thought of it.
never thought of it, mate. Never thought of it.
Bradshaw.
Good
What
on
a
you. Yeah.
what a funny what a funny thing to throw in. I wonder if he
Indeed.
threw that in as a joke for his editor and it was meant to be taken out.
Well, maybe. Or maybe he's got like a whole bunch of fanfic, or he's doing his little AI renderings at home,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
prompting hard.
I'm thinking that probably definitely has one tooth in its knob. Now that
Yes,
you brought
well,
it
at
up.
least one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great. I would recommend people go and see this film at the cinema.
Yes,
It's
that
really
is.
fun.
Yeah, it is the continuations of a franchise that started in 1987. The other one being Running Man. See this over Running Man,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
I would
haven't
say.
seen Running Man,
Yeah.
but I know a number of people who have, and it's been. I went from, oh, this looks like fun to, I'm a bit worried about this
Yes.
to, I'll watch it on TV.
Glenn Powell's trying really hard,
Yeah,
and when Tom Cruise decides to download his consciousness into his body,
yeah,
he'll learn it. Yep.
yeah. He'll be good
Yep.
to go.
He'll be
I
good to go.
I heard one of the weird disconnects with the film is that, he's a really uh, all interviews, Glenn Powell's like nice and
Yep.
fun, and he's got the Texan twang, and he's charismatic in films, and his character in this is really angry and kind of underwritten. So Glenn Powell's doing his best, but
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
just not quite enough for him to work with
And I don't think he's quite got it in him to like play rage to the extent,
that
that
they want.
that
Yeah,
requires. Yeah.
yeah,
And
I know.
also it just feels like it's Edgar Wright, shorn of all of the Edgar Wrightisms. It's very generic. Um,
Yeah,
Surprising, or maybe it potentially was edited to shit and reshot.
right.
Because it does feel like they're just sort of serving various masters as they sort of tick the boxes for the finale. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit of a clusterfuck, to be honest.
Yeah, I know an Edgar Wright fan who pretty much got into what kicked off their movie fandom was actually Scott Pilgrim.
Yes. Okay.
They were the perfect age for that,
Yep.
and then went back and watched Edgar Wright stuff and just loved all of it. And they were, uh, what did they say? They said, I think the problem is that he loves movies and doesn't have any other love of anything else. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all the films. So it's like when he's making films like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or whatever, um, you're satirizing something, and
Yep.
you're digging into it, and there's therefore more meat on the bone. Whereas then when he's just making straight films because he doesn't really have any other interests,
Yeah.
there's the films fall a little bit flat.
Yeah, and I mean the future dystopia this most reminded me of was sort of Demolition Man or something like that. So that's
Right.
about the depth of the depth of that sort of like understanding, I guess. I mean, they're
Yeah.
sort of very sort of half-baked attempts to do commentary on, corporations and, the insidious nature of capitalism and surveillance and everything. But it's not really, it doesn't really go anywhere with it.
Yeah, it's almost like it says, "Hey, yeah, all this stuff's bad," and you go, "Oh,
We're
yeah,
aware of
what
this.
about it?
Yeah.
It's bad."
Yeah. Yep. And just kill him at the end, for fuck's sake.
Yes, yeah, because that's what's meant to happen, right?
Well, yeah, the novel's like, yeah, fucking brutal. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity anyway. But
yeah, yeah. What a bummer. What
yeah,
a bummer. Now, you were going to help me out with your favorite books of the year as
yes,
well. Now, I always mooch a little bit with books because I just don't read enough brand new books.
yes.
So, have you read books that were only published this year, or
Within
these
the
are just
window,
books that you've read?
within the window of the last, I mean, I think the one came out at the end of 2024 from my
Right.
list. So yeah, everything's published this year.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Um, which is sort of I go hard. Well, I sort of enter the new year quite
Hmm.
enthused, and then
Yeah.
sort of a lull, and then probably the middle of the year I'll do a bunch of reading,
Yeah.
and then I'm starting to pick it up again now. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
I, I feel like I go a similar route. So,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's great. All right. So let's do the classic countdown from 10 to 1. Or
Yep,
how many do
yep.
you have?
12.
Ah, hit me with all of them. What's
And
what's number 12?
I was happy for you to like just pick and choose. But
No, no, no.
all
Why
right,
don't you?
I'll throw them out randomly because I don't really have a I maybe have a favorite, but I think everything else is of a quality that I'm not gonna go to. Yeah, I've got my number one for sure.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
So
we
I'll
can.
work my way from the bottom of the document up.
Yeah. All right. So
With
what?
number 12
Yeah.
is Lech Blaine, who's a Queensland journalist,
Yes.
and his book Australian Gospel, which came out this time last year.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to say I read it at Christmas last year, and he's got the most fascinating family story. Uh, as he was his birth parents were evangelical sort of charismatic Christians, and at some point he ended up being adopted by a publican and his wife.
Right.
The evangelical charismatic Christians never let go
Right.
and sort of harassed the family for decades, trying to
Yeah.
sort of reestablish content and all the rest.
Right.
Contact, sorry. And it's one of those you can see it in sort of like it becoming like one of those Australian narratives that gets like the prestige miniseries treatment at some
Right.
stage.
Yeah.
It's like the Shirley or something like that.
Right.
Uh, you know,
What era is this? How?
I mean, Lex only in his mid 30s now, so he
Yeah.
was very, he was late 90s through
Yeah.
the 2000s where a lot of it takes place.
Yeah.
He's got this affable sort of pub landlord dad, just good soul of the earth Queensland family, love
Right.
rugby, and just really engaging sort of like trip through this family's life with this bizarre sort of uh stalking from this sort of evangelical family hovering in the background. He's a really beautiful writer.
Yeah.
Disgustingly good for being that young, really.
All right. And what was that title again?
It's called Australian Gospel, a
Great.
family saga. Yeah, and yeah, thoroughly recommend that.
Okay. That's a good number
Uh,
12.
yeah, I mean, as I say, this is sort of the order the documents in, but yeah, we'll
Yeah.
jump back and forth. Okay, I'll jump around a little bit. Fascist Yoga by Stuart Home.
Yep.
Who's like a punk writer, anti-fascist from the UK,
Yep.
and he's written a book on the hot topic of the moment, where I live especially, which is wellness and how many Nazis are involved, basically.
Yeah.
Just how the two concepts fit together. The body sort of the sense of the body as being, the pure vessel that you need to maintain,
Yeah,
as an outward sort of manifestation of your superiority over other people, and
yeah,
how it sort of all kicked off in the early 1900s when someone came back from India with yoga as a practice and turned it into sort of the version we see today, which is marketed at housewives and,
yeah.
people in that sort of sphere. But it's got some pretty insidious roots there.
Right, right. Yeah. I reckon it was just post-COVID that it was the first time I ever was exposed to the idea of the wellness group
Yes.
overlapping with the Nazis out
It was Pete.
marching.
It was Pete Evans, the celebrity chef, who was posting all the Nazi memes on Instagram while he
Oh
was.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward trajectory,
Yeah.
a lot of the time. I mean, not everyone, but I doing my research and being around a lot of people in my community at the moment, you can go pretty quickly straight down the rabbit hole into like the books of, elders, the protocols of Zion, and all sorts of shit. They're
Right.
very, you know, the QAnon brain is very close to the surface with a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's weird, isn't it?
it's fucking intense, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we got a family who, like, some of the practices that just blow your mind in terms of like what just the beliefs around, yeah, your own bodily health. But then,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quickly into trad wife,
Yeah.
wearing beige, never, working as verboten in the family because
Yeah.
the daddy does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, someone, a friend of mine was telling me just yesterday that they were reading a news article, a news interview with Rachel Ward, and I think she dated one of the Kennedys back in the day, and
right.
so she knows RFK, and I think it was with Peter Fitzsimons, and he's sort of asking her RFK's like, and she's like, oh, yeah, he's great, what a great guy, and then he Fitzsimons of all, no, I'm not necessarily a fan of his, but he's saying, yeah, but all this stuff that vaccines cause autism. Like you
Well,
don't
he's,
buy
he's
into that,
getting
but she
into
but she buys into it.
he's getting into eugenics, RFK. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
lot of so it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, talking about autism as being something that's like undesirable or, needs to be stamped out or put in, specific, it's just, but that's I mean, yeah, body fascist, that's where it comes from.
yeah,
Just, if I have better genetics, inverted commas, well, I deserve to survive, and fuck
yeah,
you is a lot.
yeah. Th-
Um,
It's now it's circumcision causes autism.
does it?
Yeah, that was another one that's been thrown around the last few weeks.
So you can't take painkillers if you're pregnant,
Yeah,
or because that's autism.
yeah,
Okay, circumcision. And
yeah.
is that maybe directly related to like a ethnic group that predominantly gets it?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm on the spectrum. Like maybe
Well,
I
that's
can.
right. I mean, anyone born in the 70s in Australia.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Well,
well.
as a kid, I had there's a business idea. It was like the foreskin reconstruction. So maybe it's time to get into that niche and start putting them back.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like having an easily clean cock. So there you go. I've had a number of people. I've
Heard it here
had,
first.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I've had a woman talking. I won't say who it is because they've got a
No.
profile, and I do like them. But talk about how a man who's circumcised has a mutilated cock, and just sort of sitting there going, all right, so you're saying my cock's mutilated and it's just a very funny thing. Like I don't, who gives a shit what anyone says,
Well, yeah.
but I could imagine, flipping those scenarios, talking about people with different types of vaginas and things like that would be there'd be red dots appearing on my head immediately.
I mean, fuck. Yeah, I mean, it's a very sort of aggressive way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Everything's going to be very extremely militant about it. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like my cock. Um,
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like anyway, but anyway, so yeah, so Rachel Ward
yeah,
wearing beige and tan, and well, this is the conversation we need to have, and it's like, no, it's not.
no, it's not. I
It's
mean,
not. It's not
no.
true.
I mean, you've just got some of the guy from the one of the rallies in Australia's wife's one of the Nazi rallies in Australia. His wife's an influencer, and
Yeah,
you look at and she's spruiking the same stuff. Although her Instagram's now private, surprisingly.
yeah, yeah,
They're gonna, yeah. Um, it's anyway, the book is a great sort of primer on being aware of these things.
Yeah.
And if you're in those sorts, you know, yoga's great. Maybe find someone who knows what they're talking about, not someone who did the 6 hour PowerPoint presentation
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
and then just jumped into the yeah.
Yeah. Got some activewear and they were your personal guru. Uh,
Lululemon shares, they're off.
yeah, exactly. What's next?
A Kiwi author called Dominic Hoey, who wrote a book called 1985. Dominic's a poet and a he teaches creative writing in Auckland.
Hmm.
And I think I've got 2 degrees. I've got people who know people anyway, so hopefully we'll catch up soon. But his book 1985 is set in Ponsonby in Auckland, which is sort of these days, I guess, it's gentrified into being like Glebe
Hmm.
or something like that. But in the 80s, it was like still working class,
Yeah.
mixed, you know, mixed heritage all over the place. And it's about a kid who's 8 or 9 growing up in that environment with it's sort of like a companion piece to Australian gospel in some ways.
Yep.
Yeah, just one of those sort of like nice, sort of a little slightly cynical, but mostly life affirming reads about a kid who's up against adverse life circumstances. His dad's friends with a bunch of criminals. Maybe his dad's friends murdered someone.
Right.
Just your perspective on life, but that's when you're that old
Yeah.
and sort of know nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just got that, it really nicely evokes the 80s,
Yeah. Right.
even the Kiwi 80s, which is probably more like the 70s in Australia,
Yeah. Yeah.
later 60s. But yeah, yeah, another good sort of like coming of age novel,
Yeah.
which I seem to be drifting into as I mature, get older.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how good were the 80s?
Yeah. 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 Turns out I should give him a little bit more of a look back.
How good was Space Invaders and getting mixed lollies and
Mate, it was a pretty wild time to be alive. All right. That's what's the next one?
uh Stephen Graham Jones's Buffalo Hunters,
Right.
which is Stephen Graham Jones is a Blackfeet Native American author who has he's been kicking around for quite a while now, but I first picked him up during COVID, pardon the expression, with his book Only Good Indians,
Yep.
which was a very intense horror novel about a group of guys who are hunting elk,
Yep.
native guys hunting elk, and it's Stephen Graham Jones is very into slasher movies, so a lot of his novels are sort of on that framework. Um, and this one's about a Native American vampire in the 1800s, and it's an epistolary sort of text. It's like a set of letters that are being read by someone in the present day
Right.
as they sort of go through the tragic sort of underpinning of this guy who can live forever
Yeah.
and just reliving all the horror of what colonial America was like.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
and his sort of totem is the buffalo, and he does use that to he does avenge the buffalo. A lot
Right.
of he's going after these guys. Um, it's not Stephen Graham Jones's best novel, but it's like probably the best horror thing I read this year.
Yep. Okay.
Just yeah, he's got a very gnarly turn of phrase. Uh, you know, it's engaging. You'll be through it in a day and a half. He's just
Yeah.
like that sort of author. I'd say it's probably my second or third favorite of his. I think his Only Good Indians is the best thing he's done by a long stretch. There's a werewolf book called Mongrels,
Yep.
which is sort of like near dark meets werewolves.
Yep.
So like
Yep.
a sort of roaming trailer park family. And I think this is definitely probably my third favorite of his books.
Okay.
Yeah, really great.
That sounds appealing. I've just recently gone back and started reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing from the
Oh yeah.
start,
Yep.
and still still wild to read it and go, wow, this is better than anything that's being written at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, like it's
Yeah.
still such a work of art. But I'm just in the beginnings of the American Gothic story.
Hmm.
I just read the Boogeyman issue, so
Yep.
those books that you just mentioned sound really appealing, having been in that world at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's a very gothic sensibility to it. I he does have a series of books which are more traditional slasher stuff that I can't read at all because I just have never interested in
Yeah.
that genre of film.
Yeah.
But the novels that sort of glance off it into things about the culture and heritage, his culture and heritage especially, and then sort of recontextualize those genres
Yeah.
work much better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a critique of like, the main character that's whose letters are being have been unearthed is like a preacher,
Yeah.
heavily into sort of the religious aspect of what was going on as well.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
great. All right.
great, really great.
What do you have next?
All right, and again, I'm going to preface this one with this isn't really in any order except number one.
Yeah.
This is my friend Steve Manon's debut novel, First Name, Second Name,
Yep.
which, although it sounds like a horror novel, it's not. It's more of a sort of reckoning with your heritage as his heritage as a Chinese Australian who grew
Right.
up sort of northern Queensland.
Yep.
A queer Chinese Australian who grew up in northern Queensland, who sort of came of age during the later years of Joh Bjelke-Petersen.
Oh, right. Jesus Christ. Like what a sentence that just
Yes,
presents
just
one
keeps
hurdle
just
after
keeps
another.
going, goes hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
harder and harder.
Yeah.
And Steve told me about this book at our Brisbane writers crew. I read the manuscript before he eventually won the 2023 Glendale Prize for an unpublished manuscript. And this book was picked up by UQ Press and published earlier in this year.
Yep.
Uh, the story is about basically the concept in Chinese mythology. There's the concept of the Jiangshi, which is sort of like a zombie vampire,
Yep.
and or a hopping vampire they call it, that basically reanimates and returns to its point of origin after death, so it can be in the place it came from.
Right.
And in this case, the character is a queer Chinese Australian guy who has passed away in Brisbane and then returns to like his origin point in Australia,
Right.
in northern Queensland. And the narrative sort of intertwines with the sort of lineage, as the family is sort of becomes, intertwined with the colonial aspects of Australia, like during the gold rush and things like that.
Yep.
And, the marriages and the whole sort of genealogy. It's just I mean, there are moments of real horror, but Steve's just a really humane, uh, thoughtful writer, and you really feel, what it must have been like to have grown up under Joh Bjelke-Petersen and all of the things that entails
Yeah.
as a kid.
Man.
You know,
Like if
it's just bone deep in the narrative. It's all there.
if for the people listening, if you're a little bit younger and you don't know who Joh Bjelke-Petersen is, go that don't spend too long, but go and do a quick 10-minute read of the Wikipedia and get up to speed.
He's
Wow.
doing all the stuff that, the Republicans want to do now, but he
Yeah.
sort of managed it to a large extent.
Yeah, that's the most positive thing you could say about him was that he was ahead of the curve.
He was ahead of a curve. He got a state funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, he
He got
really
away with
did.
it. He took a pension away. Like all
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah, corruption will get you everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you do it right, that's the thing. You just got to do it right.
Um,
That sounds great.
yeah, that's a great addition to the shelf for sure. I've shared it with a lot of people, and everyone's had a good time with it.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, just as a cultural education as well,
Yeah.
it's definitely a winner. The next one's Beta Corella and her book Moonflow, which is
Okay.
this is probably another the other horror novel, I guess, but I think
Mhm.
this is more of a sort of it's about a cult about a group of cultists who like worship psychedelic mushrooms, and it's a group of female cultists, I should say, and into their midst comes a trans woman,
Mhm.
uh, and it's about all of those tangled relationships around identity and gender,
Right.
uh, as a extremely gory splatterpunk sort of
Right.
horror novel, I guess. It's not. I mean, I've included it here because it's just such a unique read.
Yeah.
It's just I only noticed it because I was following it was retweeted and or reblogged onto my Blue Sky feed, and it sort of felt like it was in my wheelhouse. It feels
Yep.
like a sort of Roger Corman movie,
Oh, right.
uh,
Yep.
a Roger Corman movie, where all the intersectionality and all the different sort of like ideas around gender and representation are just taken to the maximum, and you just
Right.
actually it's quite educational as well.
Right. Right.
You
Okay.
learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn a
Yeah.
lot. And the psychedelic aspect of it, like the psilocybin stuff, is really evocative. And it feels like trash, but you're learning and growing with the book as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right. That sounds like it has a real energy to it.
it does. It does. I'm not sure you can get it in print here, but you can definitely find it as a ebook or whatever else.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Uh, I say Samantha Bynes, who's a Kiwi author who lives in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Her debut novel, Dead Ends, came out this year. And I guess in that wheelhouse of talking about nostalgia and going home and, sort of being the person you are now versus the person you were when you left
Yep.
home. I
Yep.
guess that's the central theme of the novel, or if you really change that much.
Yeah.
So the protagonist Nell in this book is a sort of jaded millennial who's sort of just trash bagged her way through life, who has to go home to take care of her mother in
Yep.
sort of like regional New Zealand. And she reconnects with her life and all the people that she's left behind, like the former pseudo boyfriend who's now married, and sort of ends up embroiled in sort of embroiled in a sort of effort to find out what happened to her friend who died when she was very young, when a TV psychic comes to town and says she'll solve the mystery for a TV show.
Right.
It's and it's dark. It's very very funny, very
Yeah.
acerbic. I think Sam's a lot of fun. And she nails just that. I mean, for most of my adult life, I've gone back home to Broken Hill every Christmas,
Yeah.
or up until the last decade or so. And there's always that sort of sense of you being other and coming back and being different, and how
Yeah.
you back in when you're back in your, point of origin,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how people perceive you. And I think this novel really nails that sort of sense of alienation that comes with sort of being from somewhere, but not really.
It's a fascinating feeling of it's a real push and pull kind
Yes,
of experience, and invariably one is greater than the other at any given point, and it can kind of turn as well. Like
yes,
I've discussed on other podcasts, my last trip to Adelaide was one of those ones where it was like, I need to have a little break.
yes, yep.
Whereas I reckon it was probably, a couple of years of going, oh, wish I was spending a little bit more time here. And then that last one was like, no, 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 it's not you, it's me. I need to breathe.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, your relationship changes every time, doesn't it? When
Yeah,
you end up in that sort of. I know
scenario.
mine for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's from UQ Press as well, and it's I recommend it as like a it feels like a bit of a twisted sort of like Midsummer Murders to
yeah,
some it's like something that ABC might have made
yeah,
when it had some balls.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
if we were adapting cool things, that
yeah,
might end up on the rotation.
yeah,
Would be
right.
my summary.
Yep, great.
Eli Valley is a American cartoonist uh, who has been, he's on the far left, you'd say. He's very militant. He's gotten called a fascist from both sides, basically.
Yep,
Uh, he's a Jewish guy as well, and he's been hypercritical of America and their foreign policy adventures under the Democrats
yeah,
and the Republicans. And he's got a extremely sometimes in Mad Magazine they'd have those single page sort of strips where someone had done woodcuts or something a
yeah,
lot more aggressive and like nasty
yeah,
than some of the more traditional cartoonists.
yeah,
Eli Valley's got like a very heavy black ink graphic style that he uses, and his caricatures are sort of beyond grotesque.
yeah,
They're very emaciated. They're all monstrous,
Yeah.
as these depictions of whether it's Trump or Biden or whoever else. Anyway, he released a collection called Museum of Degenerates this year. That's like
Yeah.
a really beautiful hardcover.
Right.
Collecting all of his stuff up until sort of the start of the genocide in Palestine, in Gaza.
Right. Yep.
So that it charts the history of that conflict and Joe Biden's sort of complicity in it as well. And it's not a fun read.
Yeah.
He's written essays that encapsulate his stance from the beginning of the series, which I think is around 2000. I think the collection's from about 2016 or so,
Right.
around the beginning of the Trump era.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, if you're into sort of, I'd say it looks a bit like, I think his visual style is a little bit Charles Burns too. So
Oh, okay.
into
Yep.
that sort of like, gnarlier cartooning, with a social conscience, I think Eli's stuff's worth looking at, and it's a really beautiful volume. And he replies to my direct messages on Blue Sky. So
Oh, yeah. So, yep.
what
Two thumbs up. Great.
more endorsement could you give, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what availability it is here, but at the moment, but yeah, it's worth seeking out because it's sort of when you see some of the sort of toothless satire things that pass for satire at the moment. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
still some good ones out there
Yeah.
in that sort of traditional illustrations field as well.
Yeah. Great.
Yep. Um, where are we? Scumbag Summer. I've got two great novels by female authors. Scumbag Summer's by a author from Florida named Gillian Luft,
Hmm.
and I guess this is another part of that Going Home unofficial trilogy that's worked its way into this list. But this is about um, a woman in her early 20s who's basically just completely adrift, fucking a married boss, living that sort of the early 2000s pre-iPhone sort of drifter vagrant lifestyle.
Yeah.
um, it feels like a Bret Easton Ellis novel, I guess is
Right.
immediate, elevator pitch for it.
Yeah.
It's just a really beautifully evocative slice of when life was a little bit simpler,
Yeah.
although it was post 9/11, but you're still young enough to be self-absorbed and sort of in that zone of just floating through life and
Yeah.
existing in a way that's probably not that conducive to being an adult. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
empathize completely anyway. I
Yeah.
locked straight into it.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I really thought it was one of the best things I'd read this year.
Right.
She's a really great author. And she did some good quotes from my book too. So
Oh, right.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I'm starting to see another pattern
It's just
emerging.
payola, really.
This is cash for comments. We're
It's cash for
waiting to
comment,
happen.
that's right.
Uh,
But that was before I no, well, that was after I read her book. That's fine.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Works
all
out
good.
well.
No, it's all happening. Yeah.
All right. That sounds great. How many more do we have?
Just a couple more.
Yeah.
We've got Xiang Lu, who's a Sydney-based. Is he? I think he's in Sydney now, but he was in Brisbane, and he also lives in Shanghai, I think.
Right.
Uh, this book came out last year. It's called Ghost Cities. It's won every prize. Basically, there's no cover left to see because it's festooned in stickers.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
shortlisted. It's a very it's an easy go-to for great Australian fiction by another Chinese Australian guy.
Mm.
And his is sort of steeped in Chinese mythology, but also it's a dual narrative with a guy who's been blown up on social media as hashtag bad Chinese because he's
Right.
been videoed somewhere. He can't. He's a translator that works in the public service, but he's been outed as using Google Translate
Right.
to do his translations as a
Yeah.
Chinese Australian guy.
Yeah.
So I won't spoil it, but it's just a sumptuously written. The stuff that's set in sort of Chinese mythology is so rich and deeply immersive, and then you're sort of cutting back and forth with this sort of playful love story with this guy who's taken to one of the ghost cities in China, which are sort of these cities that are just empty
Yeah.
that a film director is using, and sort of to film a project and also sort of casting doubt on whether anything's real
Right.
or if everyone in your life is just a part of a cast that's been
Right.
sort of like set up to sort of
Like,
further your narrative, basically.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
Peter Weir's Truman Show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to some extent, yeah. But yeah, it's again like this stuff sort of it doesn't slip through the cracks, but I think there's a tendency for this Australian, unless you're sort of paying attention to what's happening in that sort of Australian literary field, you don't really lock onto it
Right.
as much.
Yeah.
You just get the stuff that is, I mean, that this would be at the airport now for sure, but
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good though.
a lot of it slides by, I think, unless you're right in
Yeah,
that.
unless you're actively participating.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's great. High recommend. And we've got Reservoir Bitches, which is a translated text from Mexico
Yep.
by an author called Dalia de la Cerda. She lost a few points for me because she was posting AI House of Ghibli stuff on Instagram.
Oh.
Uh, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
uh, this is a collection of shorts about just tough women in living in the realities of Mexico.
Right.
Some of it is, delves into sort of the borderline cliche around, gangs and cartels and things like that. But a lot of it's just like the realities of that, how the culture is,
Yeah.
and just how remarkably tough you need to be
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Right.
like exist.
Yeah.
And, I feel like it sort of exists in that realm of sort of maybe Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh yeah.
Uh, not in a sense of like oh yeah, I think there's sort of that fastidious attention to detail, or really, but also it sort of plunges you into the verisimilitude of the scenarios is just really intense and pretty evocative.
Right. Great.
And I think I found that at one of the bookshops on Oxford Street in Paddington. Um, but it's been floating around for a few years, but technically it came out this year because it was translated.
Right. Right.
Yes. So it won the International Booker Prize. Sorry, it was longlisted this year.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
And the Hungarian author one, didn't he?
Yes,
Kevin?
yeah. And I saw someone complaining. It was the Guardian wrote something about how it was good that masculinity was back in the Booker Prize.
Oh, right. I read that article.
And I just sort of taken. I actually
I
sent
feel
it to
like
Steve. I sent it to Steve Manon and sort of went, like I think the last 4 years, like three dudes have won it. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
So I don't understand what that framing is, but yeah, sure. You do, you Guardian. And speaking of masculinity, the last one, and this is the last thing I ever thought I'd be recommending, but it's just so I loved it so much. Brandon Jack, who's a former Sydney Swans player.
Yep.
He played 28 games.
Yep.
One of the sort of, I guess, the sort of, he was on the B squad a lot, got taken up into the majors
Yep.
for the 28 games. Uh, Wrote a book about it, comes from a sporting family, and he's written a novel called Piss Ants,
Yes.
which is basically, I mean, absolutely in my wheelhouse. It is a sort of, he does a sort of mixed media approach to his narrative. There's a lot of Facebook posts. There's a lot of like other forms of description and text that sort of bounce around as he sort of details the exploits of a bunch of the B-lister players from this team called whose nickname is the Pissants, basically.
Right.
And
Right.
it's one of the first Australian novels I've seen that sort of plays with the form,
Yep.
does this sort of chopping and changing, and messes with narrative like this. And he's another author who's just depressingly talented for being in his early 30s.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and also, former football player and
Yeah.
uh, I really enjoyed it. And I think all those conversations about getting, again, sort of in the literary world around getting men to read,
Yeah.
books like this that still have a self-aware and conscious of like the culture that they're representing
Yeah.
or depicting on the page. with empathy and, being able to reflect on the behavior that, you know, there's some shocking stuff in it, but yeah, that's the reality of what happens in these environments.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I think the ability to sort of contend with that and sort of grapple with it is like something that I know if I was 15 or 16, I would have eaten this up.
yeah, for sure.
And
It's crazy that uh, people can mistake engaging with something as celebrating, but
yes,
they're two very different things. And
yes,
it's important to engage with these types of situations and these thick veins of uh, disturbing uh, thoughts and ideas that are very well accepted in the mainstream.
yeah, yeah. No, so I found that a delight, and that was something that wasn't on my radar until I picked it up in the UK. And it, yeah, it was made for, it's a very quick read.
Yeah,
And yeah, it gave me some hope that there might be a groundswell of stuff that's not the typical, I know people love Tim Winton, all that sort of stuff, but like that sort of fiction leaves me cold.
yeah,
And I think more adventurous stuff like this needs to be given more of a chance in
yeah,
Australian publishing, in Kiwi publishing, especially.
yeah, yeah. Give
Yeah,
it an opportunity to
yeah,
find its audience because it's
yeah,
out there.
and hopefully, people who are sort of buying this stuff are a bit more adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just give it a crack.
Well, invariably, it's we were talking about an album off before we started recording,
Yes,
and the new Mike Patton album, and as I was saying to you, I listened to the first song, and it was so not what I was expecting that I couldn't take it in. Like, and I
yeah,
got to the end of the first song, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready for this." And then I put it aside, did a whole lot of other things, and then went, all right, now that I am ready, I'll give it a crack, and then listened to it properly and loved it. And
yes,
I think that is for people in all different types of experiencing different types of media, sometimes that initial reaction to something is a bit what and is
yeah,
to recoil. And if you give people a bit more of an opportunity to engage with it, then they find their ways into something that's completely new and exciting and opens up new branches for them.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the 12.
mate, that's great.
That's
Well,
12. So
uh,
I'll put a little list together that maybe we can just share somewhere else as well.
yeah, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
good. We'll
as links. Yeah,
put that up so then people can, listening's one thing, but then when you can
yeah,
cross-reference it, because I'm guessing far out, there's going to be suggestions there that people will be keen to check out.
for
So yeah,
sure.
that'd be great.
Cool.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Where can people find you, Garth?
Just at Pass the Amel on Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, and passtheamel.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blue Sky's been quite nice. I don't go in there that often, but it seems to be. I haven't seen it be. Well, my feed's been
Yeah,
quite nice.
I think the thing is that it doesn't do because it doesn't use an algorithm,
Mm,
you won't get as much attention, but you also won't see any,
yeah,
what's
bullshit.
the most heinous thing that's happened today.
Yeah, yeah. You know what?
Yeah,
That's quite nice. I'm up for that.
that's right. Yep. I'm
Yeah.
down with that for sure.
All right. Thank you very much, Garth.
Catch up.
Wow. I told you, Garth's list was phenomenal. So, a big thank you to him for always being a good guest on the show, but going well out of his way to put together such a brilliant list of books that you might like to check out. Remember, I will put them up at my Substack, and I will also put them up at my Patreon, and I'll make them both free posts. So that way you can access them, and I'll put them on the two because I don't know which site you would prefer to use. But yeah, there's some books there that sound fantastic, and I'll definitely be delving into them as well. Once again, just before I go, a quick reminder that I will be performing in Brisbane on the 4th of December at Good Chat. As you know, details can be found at my website, justinhamilton.com.au. I'd love to see people there and if you'd like to come along. And if you do come along, come and say hello as well. Like I'm up for a chat. I always like meeting people who come to the shows and getting to know people. So that is on the 4th of December. When my phone rang in the intro, that was Will Anderson. So we'll be recording something new soon too. So think of that as less an interruption and more a reminder that we have something brewing. Also, just a reminder over at Substack, you can subscribe and you can find different entries. There is the Dispatches from the Fury Road, which is the ongoing blog. The latest edition was all about Alan Moore. I've been getting back into the writer Alan Moore. I've been rereading his seminal work in Swamp Thing, which is the first work of his I ever discovered as a teenager. So I wanted to discuss how much I love his work and how it hasn't diminished over these 4 decades. Oh my God, 4 decades. And there's also One Foot in the Spotlight. I'm writing a memoir, and the next chapter coming up is my first meeting with the Doug Anthony All-Stars, which uh, ends up having a profound effect on me and probably a major reason why I am here today recording this very podcast and speaking to you. So you can find that there. Over at Patreon, you can find access to bonus podcasts, live shows, etc. And I do have a YouTube site, which I am so slow to building and so slow to getting up there. But I've put up a Christmas show from 2020 that we streamed live on the internet, as it were. Where else would you stream something? And it was a Christmas show, but it was famous. It was a faux Christmas show, and guests included Richard Fidler, Rove McManus, Georgia Mooney, Alex J, Ben Elwood, Alice Fraser, and our dear departed friend Carl Wilson as Adele, just being the funniest person alive. So if you would like to go over to my YouTube page, Justin Hamilton Comedian, you will find this as a video and a few other things, but you'll also find that Christmas show, which is just great. So if you'd like to check that out, please do so. Okay, enough of the plugs. I hope you're well. I hope you're kicking goals. We're not far from the end of the year, so hang in there, people. We're doing our best, aren't we? And the break can't come soon enough. But in the meantime, I'll be back next week. And as always, until then.